Okay, so when I was filming the footage with the Corsair Vengeance DDR5 memory sticks featuring SK Hynix DDR5 memory ICs, I promised I would compare Hynix based DDR5 memories to Samsung based DDR5 memories whenever I get hold of a kit, as it's still very difficult to get your hands on different types of DDR5 kits, as DDR5 is still very limited on the market. But huge thanks to Corsair once again. They were willing to help me out and they sent me a Dominator Platinum RGB memory kit, which is rated at 5600 MHz or mega transfers per second, and it's 2 × 16 GB once again. The main difference in the actual looks between these two different kits is that these have RGB lights, whereas the Vengeance sticks don't have RGB lights, and that's probably one of the main reasons why the Vengeance sticks are cheaper than Dominator Platinum series of memory kits. I've had very fantastic results with the Vengeance sticks. I had much better result than many other people who received the very same memory kit. So I had fully stable like daily setting at around like 6800 or 6933 with CAS31, so odd cache latency values and command rate 1. So that was fully stable in HEI memtest, and just for like demonstration or testing purposes only, I had frequencies even above 7000 with CAS31 and command rate 1 with the memory sticks just running on air cooling in tests like Cinebench or Geekbench 3. Now we do have 3 different memory IC options at the moment on the market. So we have SK Hynix based kits, we have Samsung based kits. I don't know what's the exact like subtype of the Samsung based DDR5 kits, as like when talking about DDR4 we had Samsung B-die, and in the late era of DDR3 we had Samsung D-die based memory kits that were usually in 4 GB memory sticks. And the third option is Micron based DDR5 memory kits that are usually only present on memory kits from Crucial. But so far what I've heard is that Micron based DDR5 kits aren't as good as what we saw in DDR4. So far what I've heard is that Micron based DDR5 kits cannot reach as high memory frequencies as SK Hynix or Samsung based memory kits. And as we are using Alder Lake CPUs, we want to max out the Alder Lake IMC fully, and that means with the best motherboards out there, we want to get as close to 7000 as possible, or even a bit above 7000 mega transfers per second. And it's only possible with Hynix or Samsung based memory kits. Now, in terms of difference between these two, the only thing that I already know is that Hynix based kits, they do scale a lot better with temperature. So they will be eventually better when talking about more serious overclocking, like going below 0 in temperature and so on. The Hynix based sticks do scale very well with temperature. So we have already seen very fantastic numbers between 7500 and even 8000 megahertz with like cache latency values of like 30 or 32 and so on. So the Hynix are definitely good for benchmarking purposes, but the real question is for the widest audience that which are better for daily use. So I want to see how good this particular kit from Corsair could do, because I had very nice result with the Vengeance sticks. I hope the Dominator Platinum RGB will be as good as well. I'm not sure is this kit pre-selected or not, but this is a fully retail package this time. This was an engineering sample kit. So let's quickly open up the box. Let's look at the sticks very briefly, and then let's get going and let's install the new sticks to the Z690 Dark Kingpin, and let's see how far can we actually reach with these sticks. So I would like to see like similar frequencies, maybe with better like TRCD and TRP values, and maybe lower operating voltages. It would be nice to get under like 1.435 volts on the memory, so that we could stay in the normal voltage mode and not exceed to the unofficial like voltage range for DDR5. Okay, so those are the sticks in a more closer look. So you can see it's a fully retail packaging, no engineering sample labels whatsoever. So pretty straightforward. So the stock operating like values are 5600 for the frequency. The timing table should be 36, 36, 36 and operating voltage of 1.25 volts. So I think it was 1.25 for both of these kits. So the Vengeance were 6000 with 36, 38, 38, 1.25 volts, and these are 36, 36, 36 timings, and at same operating voltage, but at 5600. I think the highest frequency bins are usually SK Hynix based kits, but I cannot like confirm that. So I'm still not like fully sure which of the different bins from different vendors, which memory ICs do they feature. So you have to search them like specifically to know like which ones you might be getting. But anyway, so let's install these Dominator Platinum sticks to the motherboard and let's see how these actually run. Will be very interesting, so stay tuned. Okay, so those are the memory sticks now installed on the motherboard. The RGB lights look pretty good if you ask me. Now there's one thing to take note, and the memory sticks are actually fairly tall this time around. So you might be unable to use them if you purchase a very tall heatsink tower for the CPU. So I suggest you use some form of water cooling of the CPU if you plan to buy any of these Dominator Platinum based DDR5 memory kits, or maybe some low-end air cooling heatsink for the CPU, so to saying. Okay, so in the operating system we can verify which memory IC type the particular kit is using by opening up CPUz and going to the SPD tab over here. So we can see DDR5 module manufacturer is Corsair. This is the exact part number or model number. Here's the XMP setting, so 5600, 36, 36, 36, 76, 1.25 volts. And here DRAM manufacturer is the manufacturer of the individual memory IC. So we can confirm that this is a Samsung based kit, but we of course we don't know the exact like model number or the subtype. What's the exact model of the particular IC being used. But with this you can obviously easily know that is your kit using Samsung, Hynix or Micron based memory ICs. Okay, so I've been testing different memory configurations for like 3 days now, and I can tell you from the get-go that overclocking the Samsung based DDR5 sticks is a lot more difficult than what I experienced with the Vengeance DDR5 sticks that feature SK Hynix ICs. So let's close the test. We have over 100% coverage on all of the CPU's threads, and so far the most like stable the maximum frequency that's very easy to get like fully stable was 6400. So it's much lower than what I expected at the start. So I was absolutely certain that we could get like 6600, 6800, even 7000 fully stable. But so far, when I try like 6600, 66, 67, 6800, no matter what like timings or voltage I use, the whole thing becomes very unstable within the first seconds of AGI memtest. So far I would stay like somewhere around 6400 and try to find a very good timing table all around and just leave it at that. But I'll still try 6600 and see if it works, but let's save this result now. So most of the sub-timings are left at auto, but I did set some of the important ones myself. So for example, these two are manually set at 6 and 8. 4 active window is manually set at 23. This one is set at 12. This one is set at 6. Now and also TRFC is set at 460. On the Samsung based sticks, it seems like we cannot use as tight TRFC compared to Hynix. So with the Hynix based sticks I was happily using like 360 all around. Now the refresh interval setting is very important on this generation. It is a lot more important than what we had on all of the different like previous generations. So this time around it would be very worthwhile to max this setting like fully to the max. So this is the only setting compared to all of the other like memory settings where highest is the best possible value. On all of these other settings, lower is technically always better. Now this has huge impact on bandwidth. So for example, if you test in AIDA64, it will have huge, like clearly visible impact on the bandwidth numbers as well as on the latency. But there are some situations when it comes to daily use where maxing this out could cause a lot of like fatal issues. So if you max this out, it could actually cause some like data corruption and so on. So for some very serious workstation or server use, maxing this setting out would be completely out of the question. So I would leave it at auto for like daily use, because I really want to integrate this profile, which I found like pretty stable, into the motherboard's BIOS, so that it would help as many people as possible who will be purchasing this motherboard once again. The only setting like which might be like more tighter on the Samsung based sticks are the TRCD and TRP. These might go a little bit tighter on Samsung, but for example the main like cache latency and so on, and many of the subtimings, Hynix can definitely get much tighter values than Samsung. But yeah, so these are the settings. Let's quickly save this and let's quickly run AIDA64 just for you guys. I guess it's alright, but I was definitely expecting a little bit more. But so far, not like a similar result what we had with the previous generation, so DDR4 and DDR3. So this time around, it seems so that SK Hynix are definitely better all around. So both for daily use as well as for benchmarking purposes than Samsung based sticks. So let's save this and let's open up one more CPUz for SPD. Okay, so we had a bit over 100 gigabytes per second read, a bit under 98,000 on the write, and 96.6 thousand on copy, and latency was a bit under 60 nanoseconds. So I think it's pretty alright, but of course it could be better. But if you try these out yourself, if you max out the refresh interval setting, you will see a very visible impact on these bandwidth numbers as well as on the latency. But as I said, for daily use, just for like security, I would leave it at auto, because it can actually cause issues if it's fully maxed out in some like daily situations. But yeah, so I will now I'll just try 6600 and maybe a bit above, but if they are still like a no-go, then I will just wrap this video up in a conclusion and just save this profile and just let it be. So let's stay tuned. Okay, as I couldn't go any higher, like fully stable in AGI memtest than 6400, it's time to wrap this video up in a conclusion. So there are definitely some interesting like findings between Samsung and Hynix based DDR5 sticks. These particular sticks that I used, they can easily like scale quite high with DRAM voltage with the sticks just running on air cooling. I could run up to 1.65 and even up to 1.7 volts with these sticks just on air cooling, which is quite interesting. There's a very nice like benching profile meant for Samsung based sticks, which is already integrated in the motherboard's BIOS, and it's ready for launch, as the motherboard will be hitting the retail market like very soon, like within a week or so. And the profile has a suggested DRAM frequency of 6800 and CAS32 command rate 1 and 1.65 volts, and all of the subtimings are manually set. I was discussing about this profile with another like fellow member from the same group, and he tested 6 different Samsung based sticks with that profile, and only one kit of those 6 kits could pass Geekbench 3 and other minor tests at that with that profile. And when I tested with this particular kit, that profile was kind of on the edge. I could run the exact same profile at 6667, but for 6800 I had to loosen up a few of the sub timings, like the refresh interval I had to drop from the max value down to 140 something thousand, drop the write record time from the manually set value to auto, and I think I did leave 2 or 3 of the other like sub timings at auto as well, but all of the third timings were exactly the same. And I got pretty nice number in Geekbench 3 memory score, 13,600 something, and a very nice row in AIDA64 with very nice bandwidth numbers and with a latency result under 50 nanoseconds. So the long and short answer to this video's topic is that Hynix based sticks are pretty much the better choice all around, both for daily use and for testing purposes. When it comes to daily use, which is the bigger question for most of you guys, based on these results, it's pretty much 6400, CAS34, CAS35, CAS36 against 6600, 6800 or 6933 or even 7000 with CAS31. So the only the main differences are that Samsung sticks, they might be able to run a bit tighter value on the TRCD and TRP. So when I ran the 6400 ATI memtest, I used timings of 35, 36 and 36, common rate 1 and so on, and many of the sub timings were also manually set. And when I tested the Vengeance DDR5 sticks, the timing table at 6600, 6800 and 6933 was at 31, 38, 38 or 31, 39, 39, command rate 1 and so on. So with Hynix based sticks, you always have to loosen up the TRCD and the TRP a little bit more. When it comes to like voltage scaling, with the Vengeance sticks, I couldn't go that much higher than like 1.5 to 1.55 with the sticks running on air. If I used more than 1.55, the performance usually went worse or the stability went worse. So the Samsung based sticks can definitely go a little bit higher in voltage for air and so on, but all around, as you can go, or as I already said, Hynix based sticks, they can scale much better from temperature. For more serious overclocking, Hynix will obviously be better if you go below 0 on the temperature with the memories as well. Now when it comes to like finding these two different IC type memories on the market, I think if you find like memory kits that have very low CAS latency value and then much higher second and third value on the main timings, that usually could suggest that the memory kit in question uses Hynix memory ICs. So there's for example the 6400 Dominator Platinum RGB which has main timings of 38, 40 and 40. That could be either, but I'm pretty certain that that specific kit will use Hynix ICs. Then there's the 6400 CAS32 kit from g.skill. So it has CAS latency of 32 and then the rest of the main timings are at 39. So 32, 39, 39. I'm pretty sure that suggests that the memory kit uses Hynix ICs, as I couldn't run so tight CAS latency on this particular kit at 6400. I could run 35 on the CAS latency, but I couldn't run 34. So I'm pretty certain that that, for example, uses Hynix ICs. But of course, it's not really a guarantee. You need to Google around a little bit, because there are many kits out there which might have very nice memory frequency like 6200, 6000 or 6400, and the timing table is 40, 40, 40. So it's very hard to say that which IC type that particular kit will be using. So you need to Google around a little bit if you really want to find either of these memory IC types. So if you really want a certain Hynix based kit. So hopefully this video answered to some of your questions, and hopefully this video is a great guide like which kind of like frequencies and timing table to go for. But these results were obviously done on a 2-slot motherboard, so the Dark Kingpin only has 1 memory slot per channel design. If you already watched some of Buildzoid's DDR5 content, he already stressed heavily that on DDR5 2-slot design or single slot per channel design really affects a lot. So you cannot reach so high memory frequencies on a 4-slot motherboard, so talking about like close to 7000 and so on. I'm pretty sure you could run 7000 megahertz daily with very good like Hynix based kit, if the memory kit is very good obviously, and if the particular CPU that you will be running has a golden IMC. So that's obviously possible only on a 2-slot motherboard, so there aren't that many single slot per channel design motherboards out there on the market at the moment. So we have the Z690 Dark Kingpin from EVGA, there's the Tachyon from Gigabyte, Maximus Z690 Apex from Asus, and then also the Aqua OC from ASRock. But other than that, you then pretty much have to look for like mini ITX options, which will always have only 2 memory slots. So that's pretty much the whole thing with Z690 and DDR5 currently. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. I will put some links down in the description box of this video for these particular memory kits, so check them out, and some of my like ideas about this topic overall. So if you enjoyed the video, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching this video once again, and I will see you on the next one.